Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this session for International Education Week. International Education Week is a week-long celebration of all things international, whether it's highlighting international students, promoting exchanges, virtual or face-to-face, study abroad, food demonstration, or a dialogue with our partners abroad. We believe that international can happen abroad or here at home. We encourage you to please participate and leave questions and comments in the chat. I am very happy to introduce our Executive Director, Alejandra Bueno. She will guide us through the presentation and will be introducing our guest speakers. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mariela. It's a pleasure to be here again with some good colleagues, and hopefully I know of several that couldn't join us today, and they had a lot of interest because they had a conflict. So we are recording this session, and if okay with everyone, it will be available to share on our webpage. So I would like to acknowledge my two colleagues, Latanya Kearney and Mariela, for working really hard on virtual exchanges. Latanya, unfortunately, she's not able to join us today, but I know she has done a lot of the work that you will see here presenting, and I will start the presentation before I introduce our speakers from SUNY. So let me start by sharing a video that explains a little bit more of this program, of this new program. I hope you enjoy. And this is still in a draft mode, but we wanted to share something with you today.
Gaining an international education experience in today's world has changed, and the Alamo Colleges District has changed with the times by offering virtual exchanges through Alamo Coil. Alamo Coil is a virtual exchange program where students and faculty from different countries meet online for classes and course discussion to develop critical thinking and cultural awareness. Virtual exchanges allow for global learning experiences in a safe environment while engaging in conversation with your peers, as well as students in foreign countries. For faculty, virtual exchange broadens your collaborative network and provides an opportunity to internationalize coursework and directly contribute to the development of global competencies of students. Getting an international education without leaving home is possible, and Alamo Coil makes it happen. Apply today.
Yay!
Sorry. So in a nutshell, that's Coil, and that's virtual exchanges. But let's go a little bit further to the detail on what we have adopted as Coil at Alamo Colleges. In the process of learning the different options that were available for doing virtual exchanges, we investigated everything that was available, well, everything that was available for us too, in terms of modalities for studying virtual exchanges. And the team, together with the members from the International Advisory Committee, we assimilated and we understood that probably Coil would be the best methodology for Alamo Colleges. The reason is because we believe that through Coil, we can access all the partnerships from different networks that they offer to us, like SUNY. I will speak more about SUNY in a minute, and other networks available, like the Latin American network as well. But very importantly, we can also utilize our own partners, and we can reach out to new and different partners as we would like to reach out. So we believe that Coil presents an opportunity for an organic growth where our faculty is involved, and we can contribute to the methodology to keep growing organically internally at Alamo Colleges. So we're very happy for this, but we've been learning throughout these past months about virtual exchanges that obviously it's a wonderful program because it helps us to internationalize in the classroom and internationalize the curriculum. as the video said, from the comfort of the student's house. We believe that also Coil is very flexible because it will allow any student and any faculty participating in it, when there is opportunity, to take that virtual exchange to next steps and probably combining with a face-to-face exchange. So we believe that its versatility and all the immediate possibilities are the best option for us. We have been very, very fortunate to reach out to our colleagues from SUNY. And I'm not gonna talk much about SUNY because I want you to hear from them about their experience and the many years that they have accumulated and creating more partnerships and more opportunities for everybody. Actually, we are very amazed by how generous they are in bringing everybody together, community colleges, universities, and actually anyone, any partner that would like to participate, not only to allow them to use the network that they have been building over the years, but also through trainings on how to do this at different levels. Trainings for faculty, trainings for administrators. I'm actually right now taking my own training. Our speaker today, Hope Windle, and with administrators. And also, I mean, there are different levels of training. But I believe that they have all the tools that are required for letting us at an affordable cost and in a way that can be very organic and very positive for our entire organization to keep building our own resources. And that's the beauty of this system, that we can grow this Coil into our own Alamo Coil. That's why we're very excited for bringing to life this new program with all your help from all the faculty, because you've been participating in many meetings. I see some familiar faces here of faculty that has been enthusiastic, like Scott Walker, Dr. Moreno, and Dr. Garza, and everybody that participates in our faculty committee. We would like to thank you, because we believe also the faculty is the key. We believe that faculty is the key element of this puzzle that includes many stakeholders and many players, obviously the students, our office, instructional designers, but faculty are key, in my opinion. And I'm very grateful for seeing so much enthusiasm and willingness to enter into this new journey from our faculty. So actually, we have a cohort already pre-enrolled for a next training that will begin in January, and hopefully more will be able to join us. But we believe that this first cohort will be kind of the founding faculties of this Coil exercise that can continue growing over time. And as Latanya has adopted this language for Coil, I really like it. It takes a village. It takes a village. It's many of us. This is not my Coil or Latanya's Coil or Mariella's Coil or not even Hope Coil. It's our Coil and it's our internal village. So everybody is participating and expecting a lot of this. And we believe everybody will be a key part of this. So the way that we see this could work, and we are already going in that direction, is that any student participating in Coil will be able to obtain a recognition in the Alamo Experience transcript. So they are going to carry the proof of these competencies with them for the workforce or for the academic transfer when they transfer after the 2 years with us. And we're very excited for the multiplying effect of virtual exchanges. In the past, we used to have 1 or 2 exchanges per year. They were very successful. Everybody loves them, but probably at the maximum, they were touching life of 15, 20 students at Alamo Colleges and a couple of faculties. With this, we're gonna multiply the effect, and it's gonna come directly to the classroom of the students with many possibilities for increasing the interaction. So we are also having conversations with our faculty and with the HR to see that there's also a benefit for faculty. I don't wanna talk more about that at this stage because we're in the very early stage, but I believe that our administrators and HR department can be interested, and it's in good disposition to really work in a way that everybody wins through Coil. It's been well received by our administrators and by so this program we believe is in good position to be launched, and hopefully by the fall of 2021 we will have around somewhere in between 100 and 200 students benefiting from virtual exchanges. Another important thing of this is all the possibilities I briefly mentioned, but through joining the SUNY Global Partner Network, we can already start coiling with about 30 institutions. And that should be multiplied, if I'm not wrong, by a number of different faculties from each institution. Also, as I mentioned, we can coil with our own partners or your partners. We can definitely start that avenue. I think we're doing that with Professor Scott Walker. We're actually reaching out to their partners for doing this coil, to his partners. And also we can reach out to other networks like the Latin America that we're members now. Just yesterday, I was participating in an event from International Education Week from the Tecnológicos, international departments from Institutos Tecnológicos and Politécnicos in Mexico. More than 100 institutions super interested in doing COIL with Alamo Colleges. And they want to jump with us, and they want to have a summit where different faculties can meet with other faculties from us, and we can start talking. So for those faculties that don't know where to start, that can be a great starting point. So without further, virtual exchanges, before I introduce the benefits that we believe we have and we are putting on the table, Mariela, I don't know if you would like to tell us a little bit about it, or I can continue if that's okay with you.
Yeah, so why virtual exchanges? Besides thinking about, the COVID-19 happened, we want this to be a sustainable thing. And throughout the meetings that I have been with Hope and with many other institutions that have done collaborative online international learning, what I've learned is that this is a sustainable program, because a pandemic can come and go. And if we have Wi-Fi, if we have a computer, we can make it all happen, and we can continue that internationalization at home with the students. It is relevant because we're attracting students to today's world. We're showing them different competencies, whereas digital literacy, or it's flexible. You can learn from your house or from your classroom. It is cost effective for our colleges and also for our students. It is accessible because it bridges cultures and reaches under-resourced communities and non-traditional learners. Throughout history for education abroad, whenever we have a host and a guest, sometimes you can see that difference of, somebody else is in a higher position. So COIL or any virtual exchange is a great equalizer when it comes to opportunities for internationalization. It is skill-based. It provides critical and lifelong skills that you can use while you're at school and after. I was just talking with Alejandra yesterday about the video. We are doing a lot of this video edits and recommendation from here, but it's also being edited in another side of the world. And that's a very important aspect, because we're using those skill sets now, and our students should be able to have that in their education, and it enables for innovative models of learning. So I believe, and I'm very excited that Alamo Colleges District wants to take on this new opportunity to bring more resources for their students. So Latanya and the whole team is very, very excited to embark in this journey. I know it will be challenging at the beginning, as everything that is great, but we have the experts and we have them with us today. So I'm very excited to hear what they have to say for our faculty, what they have to say and encourage them and be excited just as we are about this.
You're absolutely right, Mariela. I really like the way that you said it. And more than just this to be ready to have an organic growth, it's here to stay. It's not a pandemic result. It's something that we wanted to do from long time ago, and we're very happy for multiplying the benefits of this possibility. We have been discussing in different forums, in different focus groups about why do virtual exchanges and what are the competencies that we believe we bring on board. And we have connected those competencies with our own learning outcomes that we have adopted from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And we're very close. We're really, we believe that these activities and these programs makes us closer to reach our learning objectives. So I don't want to spend precious time that I would like to leave and set apart for our great speaker today and for the conversation that we can enjoy after this short presentation. I also wanted to mention that Coil, it's part of the bigger picture where we are really encouraging more activity and a more comprehensive internationalization for our students. As you know, in parallel, we're bringing 2 new programs with Coil. Jeannie, that had his presentation yesterday by Patty Ferguson, that is here with us. And also Alamo Global Student Distinction Initiative, which is this one, the one that I'm presenting, and the one that it's kind of like an umbrella of all the others. We want the students to bring with them the recognition on their transcript in terms of a distinction with 3 levels of distinctions: as ambassador or diplomat or global citizen, depending on how much they participate in different activities. So as you can see here, for participating in a Coil, a student can accumulate 5 miles instead of points. We are giving them miles. And in exchanges, if it's a face-to-face, they're accumulating a little bit more. And same for study abroad. And we are still thinking that this is something that we are discussing internally at the faculty committee, how much weight we can assign to each one of these activities. And the big piece that we are bringing here is that we are now creating an internationalization committee, internationalization of the curriculum committee that has recently been approved by our leadership. So we're very excited for this because we are gonna go through the road of internationalizing the curriculum, but not only recognizing all the courses that are international, but really bringing courses that are not international, being able to internationalize them. So we are very excited for this new committee that is going to be part of the International Faculty Committee and the Advisory Committee. And very happy for putting all these new resources together in terms of internationalization. So as we discussed, it takes a village to put all this together. We feel that we are already assembling our own village, and we're very grateful for collaborations internally and externally. We're really blessed for having find good partners like the ones that we have at SUNY. I'd like to stop my presentation. Some of you have heard me several times speaking about Coil and virtual exchanges, and you've heard our team, but let's hear now from the experts. I'd like to introduce our good colleague and friend, Hope Windle. She's Community Development Lead at SUNY Center for Collaborative Online International Learning. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about her experience at SUNY and her experience at Coil and anything that she can, and she will share with us today. So welcome, Hope. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Alejandra, and thank you everybody who is here today. You guys are an intrepid group, and I'm really thrilled to be here with you. And I'm just so excited that Coil is about to happen on your campus. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to do a presentation for about 15 minutes, but happy to have people ask questions in the chat or just interrupt me. I'm totally fine with that. I'd like this to be a conversation. And I'm going to jump in here. And so as we're just getting started, I'd love to know who's on the call, what discipline you're in, and what kinds of questions you have that you want to find out more about Coil. I feel like Alejandra and Mariela have really set you up well with Latanya to succeed, and they're providing a lot of support here, which is really exciting. And so I'm really glad for that. And so that means that you all are going to succeed. So I'm going to move to my next slide. So we're going to talk and introduce each other, and we're going to talk about what is Coil and how you could envision a Coil module for yourself and what our resources are. So we're going to zoom through this. So to me, this is the heart of what Coil is all about, what you're looking at on this screen. I come from community college background. I was an instructional designer and the coordinator for Coil for 14 years at a community college in the Hudson Valley. And this particular slide that we're looking at is a community college in Rochester, New York, and a university in Universidad de la Caribe in Cancun in Mexico. And if they can figure out how to work together through a hurricane, a pandemic, and social unrest due to police brutality in Rochester, New York, and come together, have empathy for each other, and come out with student projects that were just amazing. It just is really, this is why we do this work. We come out of it with students who are saying, I had no idea. There were people here in these other places, and I'm so excited to work with them. So really powerful stuff. And so as Alejandra and I think Mariela talked about, we're really aligning what we're doing with a lot of initiatives that are probably already going on your campus and your campuses. We all know that experiential learning is a huge piece of what we're doing with Coil because we're putting it in their hands and we are becoming the facilitators. We're coaching them to do the work in Coil. You talked about the AACU, that's the American Association of Colleges and Universities, and what we're doing aligns with their rubric and how they assess activities like this. So this is a terrible slide, but the important piece here, and actually Alejandra's slide was much better, or maybe it was Mariela, much better showing the competencies that are listed here, but these competencies actually came from a research project that was done by the American Association of Colleges and Universities. And what they found is that students there's a gap between what employers need and what students are doing. And to work effectively in teams, like right here, the students, the college graduates were only 42% prepared, as opposed to how much business executives need their employees to be prepared in doing this kind of work. And also, as we all know, project-based learning is how our students really learn, by having to do, as opposed to just read or write, but do. And right here, you have project in community with people from different backgrounds and cultures. And so the American Association of Colleges and Universities are recognizing what we know now as well, as that Coil is really the way that we can help our students get there. And I think that we all know in this time of needing to bring our campuses closer together with inclusion and recognizing diversity and celebrating diversity in what we're doing and internationalizing our curriculum, that what we're doing with Coil is we're creating an inclusive pedagogy. We're making an inclusive curriculum where the students, and these little images down at the bottom left, where the students come out of this understanding themselves better from reflecting on what they're doing with other people and understanding what other people are doing, and then understanding from working together, and this is the part that Coil does, is how to bridge the differences and build on the similarities. And this is truly what Coil's about, because students, I can guarantee you, are going to have, they're going to fall down, and there's going to be some failures and misunderstandings. And these are the 4 things: trust, communication, leadership, and time. Those are the 4 places where collaborations really have a tough time and where you're going to help your students work through this. So as we all know, Coil is not about taking over your whole course. It's about a module within your course and connecting to another professor in another country at another institution who also is teaching their own chemistry course, but you're just connecting on that module. And so you're going to be working on designing the outcomes together. You're going to be figuring out the length of your interaction and what you're going to do to be comparing things, what kind of analysis, and what kind of collaborative project you're going to do. You're going to be doing your own grading for your students. You're not going to need a memorandum of understanding for doing this. And you're not going to need to go in front of your curriculum board and have your course changed to do this, because this is embedded in your course. And so that's all set. And these are the different areas of a Coil collaboration that's pretty typical. You always have an icebreaker where people build trust. You are then thinking about a comparative and analytic kind of project to learn differences. And then you are collaborating on a big project together, reflecting and presenting and concluding. So you might have a class in Spanish that you're connecting in Venezuela, and they're teaching media and journalism. And the connection of the 2 courses is looking at popular culture. Maybe you're teaching dental hygiene and your partner is teaching dentistry practice. And so the place you're coming together is green dentistry. And maybe your class is a freshman class and their class is a graduate level class. But that module where you come together, you're figuring it out. Maybe you'll involve a UN Sustainable Development Goal too. You might even look at it in ways in which principles of management works, where the students have to figure out different ways of running a class. And here are some other ways and different courses and connections. So the one we love to focus on is the one on the bottom, where a nursing class connected with a architecture class, and they came out putting together a project figuring out how to make a virtual hospital. So the students in the nursing class and the students in the architecture class had to represent their area of study to each other and then make this project together. So it is very clear that your institution is going to support you in everything that you're doing to make this work. And what you get to do is to really flex your muscles and to think creatively about how you can take what you teach and figure out a project with someone who's teaching something similar to you or something disparate, and putting together a project that helps your students start thinking flexibly as well, and how what they're doing in your class relates to the rest of their life and to sort of a global community. So we actually have expanded greatly since the start of the pandemic. We now have over 80 partners all over the world. We have a consortium in Chile. We're about to bring in a consortium from Norway and France and South Africa, a huge group of people in Brazil, in Mexico, and Canada, and Honduras, and Australia, Vietnam, throughout Asia and China. So there are many people across the world that are working with us. So how does this work over the course of the year, and how am I going to put this in and make this happen? So pretty much Coil takes a semester of from you who are the early adopters and figuring out where you are right now to when you will start running your collaboration, which actually Mariela and Alejandra, this is going to start in the fall. Is that right? Or yeah, okay. So you are your early adopters, and we love you, and that's why we have hearts by you right here. And you're probably going to take some foundation training. I think Mariela or Alejandra said January is when you're going to start doing that, or maybe February. You can also take a foundation course towards the end of your semester when you have some time for professional development in May or June. And we wouldn't recommend doing that in August to run your collaboration in the fall. But we're assuming that you're going to find a partner maybe by February, and then you're going to start thinking about your collaboration in March and April and continue working on it so that it starts to run in August, September, and October. So we're thrilled that you're going to really get to do all this. And so how does this work in terms of making sure that you're still going to get promoted and rank increase, and how this connects to what you're doing? Coil is hugely connected to how your promotional package could work. And what you're doing now as an early adopter will be recognized by your institution. The whole arena of virtual exchange has become this great arena of research, and people are presenting, writing papers and articles about this. So it's a great time to be doing that. So what does the partnering look like? So each of you will have a partnering page, and it will say what your name is, what your language, what country, what kinds of teaching you do, what you're interested in collaborating about. It will have a syllabus of yours of which course you're deciding to do this in. And we also have a database of partners for you to look through, and Mariela and Latanya will be helping you find your partners, or maybe people on each campus will also be able to help you do that. And we also meet 4 times a year where you can meet other people who are looking for partners, and it's a lot of fun. It's like musical chairs and Hollywood squares and like speed dating all in the same thing. So people have really noticed that their teaching experience has changed tremendously from doing Coil, and I just wanted to note that. And students are also saying how much this really changes how they see their learning experience, and some students change their major as a result of doing this kind of work. And so just to reiterate, these are 2 instructors, 2 classes, 2 cohorts. You have to really think about when you're going to do this and how long, what language is going to be the primary language of your collaboration, what your course content is going to look like. And, you know, we all have to be flexible too. Like if a course doesn't run, will you be able to move your Coil collaboration into another course? How are you going to assess what technology you're going to use? Latanya and Mariela, are you going to help you with that? And are you going to use the technology of your partner? Or are you going to use it what you do at Alamo? And so just to quickly, I put the bit.ly for this, what is Coil, in the chat. And this foundation course really gets you going about what makes sense to do face-to-face and online. And then also how to bring culture into working in teams and how to better understand how that works and how to start thinking about what kind of project you're going to do. And then, as we've talked about, this partnering fair. And then your design course, which is when you really put the pedal to the metal and you figure out your design and you work with your partner in a 3-week intensive where you work on this together. Okay, and Coil will be right by you along all steps of the way. And I'm sorry, my husband is teaching a class in the background, and so it's sorry if it's a little noisy in the background there. But we are here to help your coordinators and your institution make sure that Coil thrives and is here to stay. So I just want to invite you to really think about what you're doing with Coil. While education is really in flux right now, and community colleges have been hit extremely hard with who is coming to school right now and how many people are coming, and enrollment's down, at least where I am at our community college. And the thing about Coil is it's really an invitation to what is possible and giving our students this autonomy to learn from each other and to learn from you from doing. And so I really like to end with that. And thank you so much. And I am here to answer any questions you might have. And I look forward to the rest of today and this presentation, and I will stop sharing.
This has been a fantastic presentation, Hope. Thank you so much, because it's really, in a nutshell, what Coil is, and also what are all the possibilities of our alliance and our partnership with SUNY. So thank you so much for that. I'll welcome also our good friend Kahala Creighton. I invited her and she jumped immediately as you were speaking, Hope, and she just joined us. She's from the faculty development team. So wonderful. I would like to let our guests to ask questions and participate in the conversation. Anyone?
Right. I bet that there's someone who has a course that they're thinking about coiling. And so this is a time we're a nice small group. And so if someone would like to think about what course that they are thinking about doing that, Jose Luis, do you have a course that you're thinking about coiling?
Yes, I'm thinking about psychology of death and dying.
Wow. Wow, I love it. And certainly right now with this pandemic, and we had a health, let's see, people in social services, they had a class in death and dying, and they connected it with a class in Mexico, and that class was a business accounting class, but they looked at how we handle the elderly in relation to money, and boy, in terms of how we handle death and dying, and you know, this country compared to another country is really interesting. So, yay! What are you thinking? Do you have a partner in mind?
Right now, no. I do work with somebody in South Korea.
Oh.
I'd like to explore other options as of right now. So probably, I don't know, Mexico, Brazil. I noticed that we have others. So I would like to expand horizons now.
Awesome. Great. Anyone else? Hector?
Yeah, well, I'm really interested in a script analysis course that I'm developing, and one of my areas of research is decolonized programming, and the idea of alternative or neo-dramaturgies And so I think that that's where this would be really interesting in finding. I deal a lot with translations from Spanish, and interested in creating a module that, say, somebody maybe in Mexico and here, and then we could deal with the script in both iterations, in its original Spanish and it's in English translations, or vice versa, in the original English and the translation to Spanish. And I have a couple of people that I know in Mexico that already teach at some institutions there. So I'm kind of excited about possibly partnering with some of them.
Cool. That sounds wonderful. And so and thinking about decolonizing, that is something part of Brazilian history as well. And also one of our partners is Durban University of Technology in South Africa. And they're also looking at decolonizing and celebrating African literature and culture, and sort of pulling away from the colonizing influences. And that is now part of their thinking in terms of virtual exchange and taking advantage of what virtual exchange is to have those kinds of conversations. So that's really exciting. And that's great that you have partners already in Mexico.
Questions that I have is, what are the logistics around language, around what language the courses are being taught in, and you know, I can teach the class in Spanish or in English, but a lot of my students that would be monolingual English speakers, even though they are Latinx students, don't have Spanish. How do we deal, I mean, other than the translation, what are the logistics around language barriers?
Well, translanguaging actually is a really great piece of, you know, decolonizing as well. And to pull that into your classroom makes a whole lot of sense. And so to have multiple languages going simultaneously, you can do that because this is a modality that is online. As much as it is in synchronous, actually it's much less in a synchronous realm as it is online. And so you have opportunities to have your instruction in both languages. You have opportunities to have translations happening in both languages. You have opportunities to have your presentations go in both languages, and to have teams set up so that both languages can happen together. So you could really make it very rich by taking advantage of the fact that you are bilingual, and to bring that to bear with your students and with your partner and the partner students. Oftentimes, I've found in most of our Mexican partners, the students are quite proficient in English, and they want to flex their muscle in English, but they also love, you know, to be able to go back and forth. And so I think it's a great opportunity. And to honestly expose your monolingual students, who are probably American, to the opportunity of speaking more than one language. So there are many benefits to doing that. And we have, there was one collaboration we did with a school in Belarus. And when you went to Moodle and you saw the LMS was all in Cyrillic, and then the students had to click somewhere to get into the LMS and to see the instructions in Cyrillic and then in English, it was very humbling for the Americans to realize that the students who were non-native English speakers were not only using a separate alphabet and language and were able to be proficient. So it's really a great opportunity to pull that into the conversation of the collaboration.
Very cool. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. How about Isabel? What are you gonna do?
I think Dr. Walker has some.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Go for it, Scott Walker.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt. So you just mentioned LMS, and I'm going to do our Coil training and our starting in January, and I'm sure that will be answered. But what is a typical way that everybody shares the same platform when students from other places who aren't enrolled can't actually get into our platform?
So there are many ways to skin a cat about that. So I have a feeling that Alejandra and Mariela and Latanya are looking into whether or not and probably Kahala, you can speak to this too. So without having registering for classes, the collaborating partner students will probably be let into your LMS. Do you want to speak to that?
I'll speak to that for a few minutes, Scott. We
Sure.
used that last year. Usha at SAC, there is a free aspect of Canvas we can get into. And we actually had faculty from Afghanistan who we actually put documents in a Canvas shell for both groups. So you might want to ask Erin, and if she can't do it, we can ask Usha, but there's a way we can go around with Canvas and create a shell that's part of the free version that they can use that.
I didn't think of that. My wife uses that at Texas Lutheran because they have some archaic sort of LMS. So she's using the free version of Canvas to teach all of her classes right now. I didn't think of that. That makes sense because everybody can get into it. You share it with email is how you get the list of students.
The other way to think of this is that you have your local students in Canvas, and you have a Coil folder, and you have all of your Coil information there, but that you take on the LMS of your partner who are non-native English speakers as the place where your instructions, where if they're connecting with each other. But oftentimes, once you put students into student teams, they'll either connect with each other through WhatsApp or through Google Docs or through ways in which that they can feel some autonomy. Oftentimes LMSs are so push that they don't feel like they have a way to be creative. And so there's Padlet, which is what we use for our teacher training, and there's Edmodo, or there's other tools that you can use, but you also want to find out what your partner wants to use, and to figure out sort of in an egalitarian kind of approach what makes sense for everybody. But locally, you definitely want to have space within your LMS for your collaboration. And we also made a LibGuide that I can share the link for. And so we put tons of resources in that for students to think about and to help them orient to what Coil is about. And but thinking about technology is definitely a concern, and where it makes sense to have people congregate.
The logistics are I think for me, get my head wrapped around the logistics is more difficult than trying to figure out how to adapt a class and work with other people. Because I've done this before in the ancient past, but I haven't. It was somebody who I met and ran into at a conference, and then we did this. This is in the 90s. We did this through Moodle back in when it was very first, when it was really young. Another question is, what do you guys at SUNY typically do? Do you advertise your courses as like Coil courses, or, because you get the student in a general ed course who, they're just taking it because they need the social science credit or a science credit or something, and they could care less about, being collaborative, and they don't want to be collaborative. They just want to, take a test and get it over with, right? how do you get students motivated on the home end if they're just jumping into what they might otherwise think is just a general ed class, and now I got to meet up with somebody in, you know, India or something? You know, it's work, right?
Yep. We've definitely dealt with that. So, and I've heard, you know, students say, I just want to work with Americans. And
Yeah, that too.
yeah, really painful things to hear. And also military vets who have come back from Iraq saying, oh my God, I don't want to work with anybody from the Middle East. And so it is a conversation to onboard our students to do this. And the what's in it for them are myriad, but one big thing is to help them recognize that doing this work actually puts them ahead of their peers when they go to look for jobs and when they go to do further degrees. And that doing this work, they'll come out with a certificate or they'll come out with a badge, as well as what's happening in your class. But yes, you are going to have some students who are kicking and screaming, and it's your passion about it, and as well as Mariella and Alejandra and Tanya and Kahala helping to market this as an opportunity for students before they come into the classroom. But we definitely have had students who have been less than thrilled to be a part of it. But what I've seen the professors do with those students is say, bear with me. Please have a little faith that this is going to turn out. And by the end of it, they're hooked. They're in. They have met people who are either, when the two Iraqi vets that we had that both were like, I don't ever want to talk to somebody from the Middle East again. We had our collaboration with Lebanon, and one of the vets was seeing that his peers from Lebanon were first responders with the Syrian refugees at the time, and he was a firefighter. And so there are these points of empathy, and also the more, Scott, that you can bring in trust building exercises and ways that are icebreakers for them to meet each other. It's not something in American culture that we value so much, but in other cultures around the world, gaining trust through doing these icebreaker type activities makes a huge difference in moving forward and building and finding these places of commonality, whether it be dogs, pets, food, what you do in your spare time. And it seems crazy, but these really simple things make such a difference to the students in like sort of letting your hackles down and like letting people in from another part of the world.
All right, thanks.
We had an event a couple of days ago of students from Mexico City speaking with students from Alamo Colleges about commonalities and challenges they were facing during the COVID. And right before the event, one of our students was almost ready to withdraw. She was not feeling comfortable. She was not feeling happy. And she was the most participative at the end. She's the one that most enjoyed, and she's the one that sent us an email after that. And she said, I'm in for the next one. I really enjoyed. It was so, we saw the transformation that you are mentioning firsthand. And it was not a coil. It was just a 1 hour exchange between students. And it was amazing to see how her entire mind completely changed about it.
Yeah. And some are more stubborn than others about wanting to stick to their beliefs about what they think this is and what it could be. But again, it's like drawing people out. Like part of your job in doing this collaboration is really empowering your students to sort of take a chance and to find out about each other and to also share the passion of your subject area with your students and with their partner and your partner's students. And through that passion, it also, I know they are just wanting to get those credits and that gen ed, but something shifts when you're working together. And that course that I showed at the top of the presentation, that was just a basic communication marketing, business marketing course. And those students were freshmen. And they came out of that Coil collaboration really transformed. And so even if they go into it grumbling, it's pretty amazing. As Alejandra says, you'd be surprised.
Thanks.
Sure. How about Alicia?
The rest of the attendees here are staff members, so I think that they are
Okay.
being- I don't know if anyone else would have a question for Hope. How about I have a question, Hope. How about the synchronicities? Is that a challenge too, right? When you are partnering with the other side of the world and they are, their mornings are your nights and so on. How you handle that in the best way?
So I think that that's a really good thing to think about, is that what you do asynchronously is just or more important than what you do synchronously, but they're both super important. But you need to be really judicious in how you do both realms. So I see the whole icebreaker process as an opportunity to be asynchronous and to have people go back and forth and to think about their answers and really have a chance for people to share photos, and you want to make it some kind of tool that is something really easy for people to share videos and photos and fun stuff like that. And that's totally like that honeymoon time where people are really excited about doing this. And then when stuff starts to get hard, sometimes it makes a lot of sense to have a synchronous session with any particular team, either to schedule each student team at a different time, especially in this COVID time, or to take a class that you meet synchronously already and to break up the time between teams and either put them in breakout groups or to have you and your partner coach that team to talk to each other and work through an issue, because there's issues that always come up. They didn't deliver their stuff on time. We don't know what we're supposed to do. Communication breaks down. And so you and your partner are put in the position of helping to coach them through that kind of time. And that is a great time to use synchronous sessions. And then in the end, for presentations, you can do videos of your presentations, but also have presentations that are live to each other, where they can ask questions and where they're sharing what they've done together. So there's a lot of different ways to use synchronous, but to be very judicious about it. And because oftentimes if you bring one whole class together with another whole class, the students will just look at each other like you're in the headlights, like, I don't know what to do. And you got to help them by come up with questions for the two professors. And you might even just have you, Scott Walker, talk to your partner students, or Hector talk to Hector's partner students, and vice versa, have Hector's partner talk to your students. And so break up the synchronous in a couple different ways, to not just think of it as one big class and we're going to have a lecture. That's just a big snore fest that no student wants to endure. It's like nails on the chalkboard. So You want to really look at these different mediums and use them for the best way to take care of a crisis or a celebration.
Thank you, Hope. I have a few questions from faculty that couldn't attend the session. There are just two. I know it's already 3 o'clock, so if you want to cover them quickly, to be respectful for everybody's time. They are wondering if they need a formal agreement to participate in Coil, and also if they need a special permission for curriculum to implement Coil. In your experience, what has been the answer across the many colleges that you've worked with?
I'm sorry, I just got pinged. Can you say that again?
Yes. That's what they said. Do I need a formal agreement to participate in Coil?
No.
Do I need special permission for curriculum to implement Coil?
Well, I was cavalier in saying that within SUNY you do not, because you are not changing your syllabus. You are implementing a hands-on approach to learning the content that's already a part of your course. So I would not take it to the curriculum committee and make big changes, because you don't know how many times you're going to be coiling that particular course. You might coil it once and then decide you want to do another course. Or you might decide you want to do another partner and you want to do another part of your course. So I don't think it's in your best interest to take it to the curriculum committee before you've done it a number of times. And until your programs and departments are embedding it into the program or the course, and you guys are the early adopters still, you want to keep it still in sort of pilot thinking and not go to that bureaucratic place yet. I think that's a little bit dangerous when you really want to keep it flexible.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I mean, I think we cover all these areas that everybody think they are like a challenge, right?
Yes.
And I know there's a way around, and there's a way to be successful through all these challenges. And what better than have your expertise today, and hope this session, as I mentioned, will be recorded, because we know of many, many other faculties that are very, very interested, and there was a conflict today for some of them. So
sure.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and for everybody that could make it, and everybody that hears us later. Thank you for partnering with us on this initiative and with Coil.
Great. Yay. Well, I can't wait to hear